Oh, well, I've been in the industry for over 30 years. I come from a third generation American martial art family.
Oh, wow.
I started my training as a martial artist in 1991. Um, and I started as a Japanese Shotokan karate stylist, also teaching or studying American boxing, and at the time, American kickboxing. Um, Muay Thai wasn't in Sacramento yet when I was training, so those were the main styles. And I remember at that point there was only two full contact kickboxing gyms in Sacramento, and my coach was one of them, Nasser Navaroni, who comes from the Dennis Alexio team. Dennis Alexio, famously, probably best known to most people for being in the movie Kickboxer, but he was the reigning dominant heavyweight champion, above the waist style American kickboxing, and kind of a part of that history where Muay Thai came to America and challenged the above the waist kickboxing style. And Dennis was part of that. He got called out by the leg kicking stylist and went to Australia to fight Stan Longinidis, and famously, Stan Longinidis broke his leg with a leg kick. Also, there was the other challenges with the Rufus brothers and the Thai masters coming over. And again, those fights are really well known as well.
Mhm.
So I'm part of that generation. Strike Force was going on, and my older brother was one of the main fighters on that card. And Muay Thai fighters started to fight on that card. It was a mixed show. They would have above the waist, full contact, like K1 style, and then all of a sudden Muay Thai. So when I saw Muay Thai, it got my attention. I was very interested in the culture, also the amount of variables, all the different weapons. So that was it for me. Once I saw Muay Thai and it came to NorCal here, I was all in on that. And luckily, I was part of my coach's teaching staff. I had been selected and started to apprentice as a coach, which is interesting. A young coach also, already kind of working with fighters and touring America, and running corners with him when I was 18 and 19. Um, Being at his gym gave me the opportunity to start teaching Muay Thai. And I'm known as one of the first Muay Thai teachers in Sacramento. There was only a couple different places teaching it. And I was that young, cocky martial artist that was like, yeah, I teach Muay Thai. Although I'd only been studying it for a little while, I had been in martial arts almost my whole life. But that's when we started to train. We built a team and a program at my coach's gym, and that went for about 15 years, into the 2000s. So yeah, we're going decades here. It's funny going back and talking about it because it's such big spans of time.
Yeah.
I left my teacher school in 2012. So we had an amazing gym, Navaroni's Kickboxing. It was one of the most successful, biggest gyms in America for a long time. Also, with Nasser, we worked a lot on the industry part of kickboxing and how an American kickboxing and martial art gym is run and how it's offered to the community. And if you know me, you really see that in my work. The work I did with my own gym, also the work I'm doing now with UFC Gym Rockland. And that's been an interesting schooling. Is not just training and fighting. Um, there's the coaching aspect, but then there's the industry aspect as far as gym ownership, um, the programs that you're offering to the community, and again, especially here in America, that's a tricky thing. Um, Again, I opened my own gym. I left my teacher's gym in 2012. He was moving more towards American boxing and is well known. He's one of the most accomplished boxing trainers in the last generation in Sacramento. But I had pursued Muay Thai, and we had a real happy relationship for almost 15 years. But it was at that point where I had to go my own way, and I opened my own gym, corner boxing gym. The corner boxing gym I opened with no money, famously. And the community came together, and we got a ring, we got bags, we opened a beautiful warehouse gym right in the heart of our hometown on Vernon Street. It was a really amazing art project. And the 20 years I had put in before I opened my gym, all the work I had put in with the community, people had faith in what I was going to do. So that was really awesome to see materialize. And it was kind of a first time thing. It was the first Muay Thai gym in Placer County. And I believe I was 33 years old. I'm dating myself now, but I think I was 33 when I opened that gym. And yeah, it was out of necessity. I knew Muay Thai was the style, and the community needed it. And I just kind of answered the call there. In that generation, I really made my name as a Muay Thai teacher. Although I've been teaching for a long time under my coach, standing on my own feet, training fighters, successful Nak Muay that I had been working with since day one. Um, and I trained several of America's best Nak Muay in that generation. We reached some great heights here locally, but I also worked a lot on blueprinting how to take amateur American boxers and grow them in Thailand. So during the corner boxing club years, I built a relationship with PA Abigail at Sitmonchai Gym in Tamaka, Kanchanaburi, Thailand. At this time in Muay Thai in America, there wasn't many cards. It was extremely hard to get on. So my top athletes were only getting like 2 or 3 fights a year, which is crazy to think about now with all the action we have going on. But as the coach and as their manager, I'm like, what do we do? What do we do? We go to Thailand. So that's what we did. I had my top athletes living there for about 6 months out of the year. And we really built a program for success that's being used a lot this generation. Those guys help to inspire and kind of show what can be done. The main two athletes that went over were Sydney Middleton, who's obviously a female Nak Muay, and she had over 30 fights in Thailand and fought some of Thailand's best. Also, for a couple of years there, she was known to some as one of the strongest female fighters in Thailand at the time. Sydney with that brutal Muay Khao assault, and Sitmonchai just really bolstered that style with her. The other one was Kevin Krevy. Kevin, you can actually see a picture. He's right there on that poster back there. Kevin passed away 3 years, actually, I'm sorry, 4 years ago. Rest in peace, Kevin. And Kevin had over 20 fights in Thailand and was a circuit fighter at Max Muay Thai. He actually had an opportunity to fight for the Max champion belt, which was a pretty big accomplishment. The other thing that Kevin did, which was a goal of ours setting out, was he won fights at the three main stadiums for us. which was Max, Aja, and Lumpini. And at the time, not many guys from NorCal had done that. And even still now, only a handful. But that was a really big accomplishment, especially pre-2019. The game has changed a lot in the last 5 or 6 years. But yeah, Kevin was doing that. And that brought a lot of respect to what we're doing at the Corner Boxing Club. Corner Boxing Club closed 2019, right before COVID, thankfully. I'm glad I didn't have to go through that stress. But yeah, I owned that gym with my ex, and life changed. Lord would not change the lease. You know, this place was Roseville prices, so very expensive. And I lived in that gym for about 6 months, you know, because it was just almost impossible to make any money. Yeah. So yeah, I had to close that gym, and then COVID hit. I was training a couple fighters, about 10 of my dedicated, stable fighters, in a little warehouse gym. We call it the Dungeon at Rudy's. And we kept it going. I actually won one title there with one of my great champions, Tyler Lloyd. And we did that right after COVID, but we were just holding things together. And I about went flat broke. So I closed that gym. And I thought I was out of the game. Even moved to San Francisco. I was living in Pacifica and South San Francisco area, Burlingame. And I had been in martial arts and working as a coach and a gym manager my whole life. So I'm like, well, you know, with COVID and what's happening, maybe I should try to go work for Tesla. I don't know. One of these corporate jobs. I know I could make 6 figures doing whatever. Sure. So I took a hiatus. I met my beautiful wife, Becca, at the time, and she's a school psychologist down in South San Francisco. So I was living down there and still training, of course. You know, us martial artists always training, and still training my really dedicated boxers. But yeah, I was ready for the universe to kind of show me what the next step was. And I was working with a young champion named Alyssa Gomez. And her family would train me to drive to her house and train her in their garage. They had a pretty nice home gym set up there. And they didn't want to give up on her career. So I said, okay, you know, let's make it happen. And we actually won the US Open out of her garage. We took her out to Arizona, but during the training camp, I took her to spar. You know, you can do all the pad work, you can do all the conditioning, but then you need the sparring. So she knew someone at UFC Jim Rockland. So we went up there to spar, and I walk in, and at the desk is one of my old fighters, James Sandman Irvin, who's an old UFC legend. He had a record knockout. It was the fastest knockout for 15 years. Or something like that. But me and my older brother, the champ, we used to train him and some of the Uriah Faber stable back in those days. So I walk in, he's the manager of this gym. So he's like, Ezra, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm racing bicycles. I'm living in South San Francisco. I'm training Gomez for the US Open, USMTO, shout out. So he's like, well, we're looking for guys. You know, would you be interested in taking a head coaching position here? And we worked it out. The owner there, Mark, he didn't know me at all, but he had heard of me. And I came in with my accomplishments and my resume, which my manager, James, knew all too well. And I've been at UFC Gym now 4 years. We're going into our 4th year, and we've done great work there. We've done some great work back at Navaroni's in the 90s and then at the Corner Boxing Club. But I think this current generation, this is the best work we're doing, not only as a team and what I'm doing in my personal life, but what's happening in American Muay Thai and NorCal Muay Thai. And then here we are, we're in the Berto generation. We got the teenage mafia. I'm doing the media work now with Muay TV. 2 years ago, they approached me about doing my own show. And I promoted A1 Muay Thai 3, which was a pro-am show. Mm. And although I've been involved in the industry promotional part with my old boss, I've never promoted my own show. But my boss, James, recommended it to me. Uriah was looking for someone to take over that part of A1. And here they come. I think from all the training and all the cycling I was doing in the victories out there on the trail at the moment, my confidence was delusional. So when they came to me with this budget, this pro-am budget, $70,000 budget, I'm like, sure, I can do that. And it was interesting because there'd never really been a big pro-am Muay Thai show in Sacramento. There was a show called Muay Thai Global, and they had a couple pro shows on those cards, but it was mainly an amateur card. So this one was a little bit different. The other thing I did with this show is when they came to me, their goal was, we want to build a Muay Thai show that we can get a UFC Fight Pass contract, like A1 Combat. And they already had the formula and the budget, so the backbone was already there. So that was the goal. And that's why I put together Muay TV, which I had been working on Muay TV maybe 6 months before then, but it just, everything lined up there. I actually used my own money. When I did A1, I think I put $3,000 of my own money into it just so it was good. I made sure that it had a broadcast and it had commentary, which I worked most of. But I built a commentary team out of my team. Luckily, I had met some camera people, Chris Smith, who's been a huge part of the media success that Muay TV and Rising Stars has been having in the last 2 years. But that all came out of that one show, and we nailed it. Even though I didn't continue with A1, there was a lot of wins for Muay Thai in that one show. And somehow I added these other roles to my Muay Thai accomplishments. And it's really, really interesting because I didn't try to do any of these things. And I talk about it a lot. These things just came to me. I've always been known, I'm an old, grumpy, traditional martial arts guy. Even my Instagram wasn't public until like 2 years ago. I had like 400 followers, and I hid all of our training. 90s generation, there was no internet, so you didn't see us until you saw us at the weigh-in. But it's crazy thinking, the transition, and the UFC head coaching job came to me. The podcast, the Muay TV podcast, I was asked to do that. I wasn't like, let me talk on this podcast. I actually told them no at the beginning. Who wants to listen to me? Who wants to hear about that? And obviously I thought about that and I was dead wrong. Shout out all you guys supporting Muay TV. That's really taken off. It used to be hundreds of views. Now it's thousands of views. And that's not easy. The Muay Thai community is very tight knit and gate kept. So everyone's very cautious about what they're going to put their name on. And yeah, I really appreciate the support and a lot of great feedback. And you guys see what I'm doing there. I'm there to highlight the culture, its athletes, its history, and this is how people are getting information now. So I just stepped up to the duty. The promotional thing, same thing, that came to me. I could have easily been like, no. But I was like, hell yeah. I'm going to throw $3,000 at it actually of my own money. We're going to make it sick.
Yeah.
After that, I started working with Lino Enriquez and Rising Stars. And I'm sure you've seen that, Aria. Um, Rising Stars 11 junior and teen show just happened. One of the first shows of its kind to highlight just the area's kid talent, which was a huge success. But we're working with a really talented, dedicated team that comes from the culture, not just businessmen and investors, but gym owners, coaches, fighters, ex-fighters, artists, photographers, media, all these people under the Muay Love, NorCal Muay Thai umbrella. We're building these platforms and you see it. Rising Stars, all the media. I think we had 10 videographers and photographers at the last show. And that came to me as well. It was from the work I did on A1 and obviously the relationship that me and Lino have had, even though we've been fierce rivals as coaches and our teams competing. It's been an amazing, healthy rivalry. And now working together for the betterment of American Muay Thai with this great promotion. And that comes to the last thing is the commentary work. That's kind of the last little feather in the cap that, somehow flew my way. And I've been doing Rising Stars. I just did my 5th show with them on the mic. And then I'm actually doing Knock Muay Challenge in Stockton, which is only about an hour away from Sacramento, if you guys don't know the region. So it's the two main traditional Muay Thai cards. And I love that. It's even the commentary on these shows are important. And the promoters here realize that and are willing to throw a little bit of budget at it. So it's done the right way. And we understand we need the fighters, but we also need the public to see the broadcast and the sport in the right light. And the commentary is part of that. Having educated commentators, that's part of it. And we're doing that here in NorCal, not just bringing on an old coach like me, but I'm working with my co-host Sal Apollonio, who's been in the art with me for over 15 years, and also the Rising Stars commentary crew, Billy Brand and Brandon Ramirez, who are both professional level fighters and coaches. So yeah, we're having fun with that, and I'm really excited to be doing all these different roles, even though that wasn't my intention. I'm surprised I was able to go through all of that. I'm super passionate, and I don't waste any time in doing anything I don't want to do. And luckily, I'm at that age of my life where my time is not distracted. You see, right now, I'm in my study and it's 10:57, and I'm usually in here. If you guys follow my social media platform, I post a lot of content and I usually will erase a lot of it at about noon. But, I'm working from about 6 a.m. to noon in the study and writing, watching film, obviously communicating with the rest of the Rising Stars, Muay TV, Knock Muay Challenge team, talking to people such as yourself. You can do a lot. I do a lot. Even my content, I'm just spewing this stuff out before noon, and it's just coming to me. Um, and actually, I have a lot of free time. Again, I train a lot on my own. I've been into cycling for almost 5 years now, which is a obsessive, crazy endurance sport. You can easily spend 10 hours a week on the bike. So just the bike itself. But yeah, there's a lot of time in the day. But I work every day also. Sometimes I get in trouble with my wife, and shout out Becca, my wife. I always bring her up, and she's like, "Everyone's gonna think I'm a mean wife," but you know how it is. It's you got to get off the phone. You got to stop watching fights for the other parts of your life. But I got that tweaker energy. You could even see, when I'm talking, I got that passion. You listen to the commentary, even on the little kid fights. It's like I'm loving it. So.
Yeah.
I'm able to do everything and balance it. And I guess I have a lot of energy. But yeah, it's just like time is limited. And I talk about that a lot. I'll say, you're going to die because it's true.
Yeah.
How much time do you have? What's the life expectancy? I talk about career mortality as well. Your working years are limited. How many years is your work going to be relevant? And right now, I seem to have this window, um, and we're going to hit it while it's hot. It's there should be a sense of urgency to life.
Hmm. Yeah.
To get after it. I think losing some really close friends and seeing things end that that helps from a older adult's perspective. Sometimes youngsters in your 20s, you feel like, oh, I can live till I'm 100. Uh, but yeah, your 70s are going to be riddled with arthritis. Just, your 20s are amazing. You don't want to squander them. Now I'm in my 40s. Man, I only have so many hours of my 40s left. So that's my mentality. I mean, you can't pay me $20 an hour for my 40s. Sorry. It's like those hours and these years of my life are worth millions of dollars to me. And I'm putting those hours into my work, my art. And that happens to be American Muay Thai martial art industry. Thank God. Martial artists are workers, even though a lot of the white collar Japanese population famously trains traditional martial arts for mental, social, and physical betterment. Martial arts is really a blue collar thing,
Yeah.
right? The fighters, especially fighters, um, all the young fighters that I train, these guys come out of tough situations. The you got a lot of the the tough fighters. These guys could be mechanics or farm workers. And you young guys watching in the young generation, you might have that more relaxed lifestyle. You still got to be a worker. Even if you don't got to punch the 9 to 5, you got to be on it. It's like, that's an issue a lot of young fighters get is they turn 18, they get their first part-time job, and then all of a sudden they don't have time to train. And I'm just like, what? You don't even work 40 hours plus. You don't have kids or a wife. You live at home and you don't got time to train? You're crazy. I train more than you on the weekend.
Yeah.
On the cycling, we're waiting for the weekend because they got some time off. We're going to do 4 hours on the weekend. These guys having trouble getting 4 runs in, you know. But yeah, there's time. There's time. You just got to be after it. And again, you got to have that blue collar martial artist type mindset. The grinder. Berto was extremely polite, very well spoken. He was a gym jumper. Mm, Great teeth. Mm, yeah. He contacted me through social media, said he was looking for a new gym. Uh, he had saw my work and encountered my team at some local events and liked what he saw. Um, he was having management and training issues at his original gym.
Mm.
Um, so he was advised I was one of the more accomplished professional level coaches, like coaches who had taken fighters to a pro level or had been around it. Contacted me, and I asked him what was going on. Has he talked to his coach and manager? I put him on a year probation, which I do with everyone. Um, when I get a new fighter, first of all, I won't just agree to training a fighter. Um, UFC will train anyone that's respectful and then pays their gym due. But that doesn't mean I'm going to take you on and mentor you and manage you as Nakmui under my family name. Um, I'm going to look for certain characteristics, which you don't got to be able to do backflips, but you need to have certain virtues. A lot of it is being genuine and hardworking, like I talked about. I'm known to give most anyone a chance to walk that road. But Berto, yeah, I kept a close eye on him because he's a gym jumper, which in Muay Thai can be a bad thing. People jumping around 3, 4 gyms. Usually, it's not the gym at that point. It becomes the person. But with Berto, we found out over that first year that his word was good, and he followed his agreement as far as doing all the running. Uh, his attitude towards training, and yeah, he really won me over and surprised me. I've been around a lot of high level athletes of my own, and watching the community over the last 30 years. It's shocking how fast he excels, from having 2 amateur fights, which I believe he only had 2 amateur fights when I took over his training and started managing him, to now, which is only like 2 years. I think I've only had him 2 years. But his style has changed so much, and he's been able to adapt and learn my style, which I'm able to coach almost any style, like low kick, punch strong, Muay Thai. But my style is really Muay Thai. Um, able to switch stances, use both legs, kind of classic stadium Muay Thai from the 90s, femur and then Muay Thai in a defensive way, which is not easy. It's not easy to fight off the back foot, sit in the pocket and trade for points, especially here in America in the IKF era where they really love aggression. But Berto has absorbed that and has been demonstrating it on a high level against these other super heavyweights, which is super entertaining because these guys are monsters. They're like I joked and did a lot of promotions where I used the old Godzilla um, art because these guys are literally like 300 pounds clashing in there. Berto's last fight, they broke the ring. These guys cracked a board or a beam in the ring. They're so big, but Berto at 250 pounds in shape is not small, and he's extremely fast, and he has the Muay Thai Regan style, um, which is awesome. It's awesome to work with, such a dedicated, genuine athlete that wants to go to the top. He has these goals written down for himself, and then he actually can do what I'm asking him to do. Um, it's been great and has made me a better coach. Berto is highly motivated. Although I'm his manager, This guy will hit me up with messages, and he's already booking and talking to promoters. And like last year and this year, we've been on a West Coast tour, right? We were up there with you guys in the Tacoma, Seattle area. And yeah, he's kind of going all over because he's motivated. He gets out in the community, he collects sponsors, which last year we won a lot of awards last year, which Berto won Amateur Fighter of the Year, and well deserved. There's a lot of great Nakamui, especially last year. Guys had some sick years, some best years of their career, like Berto. But Berto came out of nowhere, with 2 amateur fights, swooped up all the belts, arguably went undefeated. He only had that one really fun decision loss in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But other than that, he swept everything up. But the other thing that he did, along with the Muay TV team, is we should have got most Muay Thai sponsors of the year, because you see, it takes a community to do these kind of things, to take the flights, to have a coach and a manager. And man, he's out there. Last time he had Ann Fong, the famous attorney, was one of his sponsors. Berto is really genuinely nice, and that shows through the amount of contacts in the community that he has and the people that believe in him. And you young guys and coaches and managers out there, I know you guys are watching and taking note. That's a big part of the game. And it allows the athlete to do 7 fights a year like Berto. It felt very risky, and it was new. I'd never done that before. Really, a 5-round title fight with state, but it was the right thing to do. A big part of the team and the team's success over the last 2 years has been the implementation of my assistant coaches and trainers. And my main assistant coach is Arturo Leyva, Coach Art. And Coach Art was with Berto since his original gym. And when Berto came over, I told her, you should come too. And not only he's been a big part of training Berto, but he's also a big part of the current generation of fighters that are coming out of UFC Rockland. So he's the coach that went with Berto on the first one. And we used technology. We did the training camp as usual. I had a title fight here the day before. That's why I wasn't there. But Berto went up with a clear game plan that we trained for. In the locker room, we were on FaceTime, and they got it done. And then I have full faith in Coach Art in the corner. His ability to warm up and service the fighter in between rounds really made his name as that cut guy. He's a cut man, which that's his main role with me. When you see us in the corner, I'm the strategist. I've been developing these boxers through their career, but he's the one cooling the fighter down, getting the swelling down, warming him up after the fight, cuts the hand wraps off. So, we work in tandem, but there is times where, he has to make the decision in the corner. And then that was one of them. But yeah, really exciting to win that title. I remember watching it live in our front room and just going nuts. Berto put on a clinic. I think at that point that he looked his best on that fight. I mean, he was tripping the guy and just putting on a beautiful Muay Thai display. And I remember at first the crowd didn't like Berto. You could hear the boo. And then the Berto stole their hearts by around round 3. And I love that Even though the Muay Thai audience is biased or might not like your shorts coming out or might like the other guy because he's from Tacoma, once the fight starts, you can feel the crowd's heart. And Berto did that. And well deserved. He looked like $1 million in there. He raised the belt and brought it home along with several others that year. I guess it feels like the Muay media. There's a lot of different cliques and circles. And instead of promoting and covering the country's Muay Thai, they're promoting their investments, which I get. I work for Knock Muay Challenge. I work for Rising Stars. I work for UFC Gym. But you know who I really work for? I work for Muay Thai. So I'm going to give props and I'm going to highlight the culture, not just IKF, not just WBC. All of these things are connected and there's good things happening in all the different circles. And like I said at the beginning of today's interview with you, it's awesome for you to reach out because that doesn't happen very much. It's like people just want to give their friends or their contacts visibility. And visibility in 2025 is a big part of the game. And some people don't want to give visibility or let someone have a seat at the table. And Berto's one that's earned his spot at the table. And we're expecting the other sanctioning bodies and the people doing the national rankings to knock on Berto's door, and not all of them have. And including the media, even our local media, after he won those 2 straps representing NorCal Muay Thai, not much crickets. That's one reason we created our own seat at the table. As Coach Lino famously said, in Muay Thai, we have to do that. And part of that is our media team. Sometimes we have to give ourselves exposure, but we shouldn't have to do that. Muay Thai needs legit media, legit journalism that's not biased, which is an vital part of true media. Media is their job is, or journalists' job is to present the information to the public, not to sell this company or corporation, right? It's transparency, it's honesty. And Berto is one of America's great champions, so we feel like the media should be covering it, and America should be celebrating it, which didn't really happen. But you know what? That's changing. I'm hopeful, and I'm putting in the work. We're putting in the work, and Muay Thai is going to continue. American Muay Thai is going to continue, and we're just getting started. As you've seen, Berto is in a huge national fight. That fight is getting a lot of love and coverage. Berto will be defending his U.S. super heavyweight title against Cameron Ashford on Rising Stars 12. This will also be for the Rising Stars heavyweight title, which no one has been crowned. So huge fight, not just for our team, not just for Berto, not just for Rising Stars, but for American Muay Thai. And we really saw that with Rising Stars 11. And finally, I had the country's different Muay Thai communities watching what we were doing. We can see them on our Instagram. We can see them on the live feed. And awesome, good. That's what we want. It's we're all working together. It's not New York Muay Thai. It's not Texas Muay Thai. It's American Muay Thai, and it's Muay Thai, period. And yes, Rising Stars 12, um, Montano Ashford main event for the national belt, along with some other really high level um, title fights. That's going to be amazing. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going to continue to happen. I mean, you look at the growth the last 2 years or since COVID, it's been a Muay Thai gold rush up here, an explosion. Uh, it's going to continue and it's going to keep getting better. Again, the people that are behind the promotions, there's a lot of young, huge, strong teams. They're not going to die out. They're just going to get stronger. The legendary fight promotion, fight experience, it was awesome. Um, the hospitality, even the little comfort inn we stayed in for 3 days. Lovely little motel. They had the free breakfast every morning, and the other fighters and coaches staying in a hotel, and the food was great. They had like three moms in there cooking it up, and the Seattle Tacoma area. I'd never been up there. Awesome, very very San Francisco kind of vibes, and great food, friendly people. It had that Canadian mountain energy, but I like that. And the show was run very smoothly. Um, the show was crazy compared to what I'm used to in California and all the sanctioning and rules and regulations. To see what Washington, the freedom that they had with their amateur athletes was crazy to me because I got to see pretty much one FC rules in a cage with amateur kickboxers, um, which they would never allow. They would never allow in California. They won't even let us put liniment oil on the boxers. So really different and just a stark contrast between two states, just two states, stark contrast in what the heck has happened in NorCal. It's like, it's insane. Like, at legendary promotions with the super heavyweight title on the line, Tong Sai versus Sit Regan for the belt. There wasn't very many people there. I would say, total in the crowd, about 100 people. Then I come back to Sacramento and do the PMT, the low level mat fights, the mat Muay Thai, we call it. They had 200 fighters,
Jeez.
double the amount of the attendance of the Washington show. And it just shows you, I mean, that was just the fighters, the amount of parents and friends and fans that come. I believe Rising Stars, which has sold out every show for, I think, since the first one. The last show had over 2,000 in attendance. And that happens every time. It's really incredible, the growth that's happened in Muay Thai here. And again, we were surprised because the Berto Hench fight, that was a pro level American title. And yeah, other than the real Muay Thai heads, not many people tuned in and supported that fight, which was too bad because it was a hell of a fight. And once again, Berto with the femur style, putting on a show. And yeah, it was interesting. I know we're not the hometown guys up there. I get that. And I think being the California guys coming from the NorCal, we show up, we got matching shirts with the sponsor, Berto with the strap coming from Sacramento. So it felt like we weren't the love champions. Like maybe they would have liked to see the fight, go to the local guy, but too bad because Berto dominated that fight. Especially down the stretch. Beautiful, beautiful performance, and really proved his rank in the country again. Brandon Hinch had lived in Thailand and fought professionally, had a lower level title in Thailand, which we knew coming in. But again, it reaffirmed Berto's ranking in American Muay Thai. But yeah, the experience was awesome, and I'm looking forward to coming back again. And when I see the commentators and the media, I'm still going to show them the love, and I'm sure they'll be happy to see us. And I hope they watch this. What's up, guys? Still waiting for them to subscribe to Muay TV, though.
Yeah.
We want to get some love on the Muay TV. You know, get them involved in the NorCal conversation.